Scott Harper. Scott and I have known each other since I came to Dallas. He is the founder of Dialexa, which, by the way, does a ton of Internet of Things kind of business. If you're unfamiliar with Vinly, all right, which is a device that attaches to the whatever jack in your car and turns it into an Internet of Things, that's these guys, all right? This is Nathan Huntoon. He's the principal engineer for automation for Pepsi Frito-Lay, that small company north of Dallas. We're getting a lot of those kind of folks here, all right? They're going to be fighting about the Internet of Things. A couple of points that they might be hitting on. One, security, consumer benefits. What takes precedence? What wins out, all right? Innovation versus regulation. Where do we draw the line, okay? Without further ado, do you guys know who's going to go first?
Go ahead, you need every advantage you can get.
All right, Nathan's going. And the
you guys make
gauntlet
potato
is
chips.
thrown.
Since the position of strength is usually defense, I'll take that to mean that you need the
Nathan,
advantage.
you have a minute.
So in an information economy, by definition, our information is a valuable asset. And since the Internet of Things, especially in the consumer space, is more about gathering consumers' information. Are you home? Are you driving? All of these kind of pieces of information now have real value, which we have to trade off. Every time we choose to purchase an Internet of Things device and put it in our home and bring it into our lives, we're making a decision. Is the value it provides greater than both the financial cost and now the data cost? Unless security and privacy concerns are taken into hard account, which today, I don't think it takes much argument to mean we're failing at, the Internet of Things is one widely publicized tragedy away, such as a device in your car that maybe somebody hacks and causes an accident. And then that whole industry can be seen to suffer. And so I think our position today needs to be, in order for this burgeoning industry that has a lot of potential, we must put security and individual consumer privacy at a highly elevated position, much more so than it is today.
You're right on time. You must have rehearsed. Well done. Scott, your minute opening salvo.
So I didn't rehearse, I didn't need to. This is an easy argument to make. So right now, I mean, everybody knows Internet of Things. This is a huge trend, it's a big space. The value is undeniable at this point. You have cell phones connecting to networks, each other, devices, your cars, your home. The benefits are plentiful. Nobody needs to paint the picture for that. The question, we're battling or debating today is whether or not the security and privacy concerns are really going to be the downfall of the space, or they're going to diminish the value. This is like any new space. There are challenges. People are looking at, here's something that, exposed some sort of one guy hacks a Jeep or something. Well, when you go look at it and say, well, how did they implement that? Poor implementation is not does not actually make a case for saying that this space isn't valuable, or, oh my gosh, we can't defend against it. We hear about security all the time. You look at, oh my God, the Target data breach. They didn't follow PCI compliance. The only thing that's lacking here today is standards that are adopted by industry and non-competing protocols. This is the same thing we battle all the time. It's very simple.
Right on time with 1 minute, even though he didn't rehearse. 30-second rebuttal, Nathan.
I saw you watching.
Yeah.
I did. I was watching him.
So again, this is a space where it's easy to come to an agreement or disagreement. And I think the concern I have right now is it comes back to the value chain for the person purchasing the device. And I think right now a lot of the Internet of Things devices that we're purchasing and bringing to our homes to me seem like they bring more value to the company selling it to us, or to the companies that company's been selling our data to. And I think as consumers become more aware, because of high-profile data breaches such as Target, or personally for me, Office of Personnel Management at the government, right? Those things are starting to become part of the general consciousness, and people are going to become more aware and they're going to pay more attention when they make these value choices.
And 30 seconds. Sorry. I'm going to be tight on that. 30 seconds.
So this is conspiracy theorist speak, right? I mean, you might as well put tinfoil on your windows, stay home with your pet rock. I mean, this is, It's just not that complex. I mean, when you look at it, it's consumers have a choice. So when companies that are violating or taking advantage of consumers, when they get exposed, people are not going to do business with them anymore. If they care, if they don't, they can continue to support those companies. It's pretty straightforward. You have a choice. People are going to get exposed. That's why we have the media. This is why you have the hacker community that can expose data breaches and flaws, without much consequence at this point. It's just...
And 30 seconds.
That's it.
Outstanding.
I don't need to say anything.
Referees, confer, please.
All right. So the issue here is about security. And so we, the panel, believe that security will be dealt with as and when the business benefits.
Keep that close to your mouth.
The business benefits
Yes.
overrule the security issues. Where's it going to come from? Enterprise or consumer?
All right, so I think the drive is going to come from the consumer first in the value chain, because I believe that in the enterprise space for Internet of Things, that decision's already been made, right? The industrial Internet of Things and all the consumer space, or the enterprise space, they've already committed all in, but they also have the resources. They own their own data. They manage it. They value every step of the chain. They kind of have the resources to do that. And so I think they've kind of handled the security at least to a level that they feel comfortable with. If you want to go to the next step, that's going to be driven from the consumer benefit space, because they're the ones that are currently probably operating in a slight position of ignorance.
Scott.
Yeah, so the enterprise space, they are already addressing. They're more control. They can spend the resources. There are ways and means that we know how to do IoT securely, from the hardware and firmware side to the wireless protocol, the encryption side, the cloud. Security is always a relative term, as we all know. This is obvious in the security space when you're speaking about this. But the big, widely publicized things that you're going to see that are really attacking the efficacy of the space are going to be on the consumer side. This is where, nobody feels bad for, PepsiCo when they have a poor implementation because they don't have great engineering.
Not even me.
They say, hey, you should know better, right? But when, Joe Blow buys a smart lock, an August lock, and he puts it on his house, and somebody hacks it and can get right in, because these are actual hacks you can buy right off the internet. This is what's going to drive the standards to go there. That's when consumers are going to actually see and become actually aware of the risks there. They're going to demand that, and companies are going to step up.
Excellent. All right. Wow, that was really, really good. Voting is open. Start your voting right now, all right? You guys got a minute. All right, Jeevan, you can close down voting, Jeevan. All right, stand up, guys. Scott Harper, the winner. Right here, baby.
Pink gloves.
Way to go. Way to go. Nice job. Nice job.